done, before any changes are done to the polling stations, there has to be consultations with the political parties that are contesting, and after that, those polling stations should be gazetted. But that was not done. This is why we are currently faced with a lot of chaos. For example, I can give you an incident here in Harare, Ward 41, where our candidate, councillor there, they said, you know, there's a traditional polling station, open space tent in 10 North. It has always been there. And according to the, you know, to the, in the previous elections, for example, I've just been talking to Adi, or as I was coming here, he was in airport. We've got quite a number of people that have been moved, and they don't know where their names are as we speak. So that is the trend throughout the country, to say that, but some people were even moved from their own, you know, from their own constituencies to other constituencies. And remember, we are operating under a delimitation, you know, delimitation boundaries that were set in 2008. So what it means is that ZEC has gone beyond those boundaries. So those are some of the discrepancies that we noted. And clearly, by his own admission, like you're saying, ZEC has admitted, he has given us a defective voters roll. And this is why it's the CCC is demanding to know which voters roll are going to use. And there's also the recurring issue of our polling stations. As some of you might be aware, the law is clear to say that, you know, before anything is done, before any changes are done to the polling stations, there has to be consultations with the political parties that are contesting. And after that, those polling stations should be gazetted. But that was not done. This is why we are currently faced with a lot of chaos. For example, I can give you an incident here in Harare, Ward 41, where our candidate, councillor there, they said, you know, there's a traditional polling station, open space tent in 10 North. It has always been there. And according to the, you know, to the distribution list of ballot papers, that polling station is there. But only to be told yesterday that no, that polling station does not exist. But then we have 1,300 people that are registered there. So what is going to happen to those people? They have removed that polling station, but yet, according to the ZEC record, even the voters' roll that ZEC actually gave us, that polling station exists. So that is one issue that is in place. And even here in Harare, also Ward 7, you know, at Councillor Kotora's place, same thing. We have polling stations that have been removed. We have polling stations that have been added everywhere throughout the country. Even in Kwekwe Center, I speak of the same as well. So those are the challenges that we're talking about. To say, you know, ZEC consult people, consult the stakeholders. Those are issues that can be discussed at multi-party liaison committees, but they will never discuss. With respect to that, there's the issue of the ballot printing as well. It is unfortunate that the ballot papers have been printed in accordance to those, you know, polling stations that have been set up by ZEC. And these are some of the challenges that we're facing. We never discuss those issues. You know, this is why we have instances, for example, our candidate from Fakose, their photograph in the ballot paper was defaced. You can hardly recognize it, but ZEC has already printed. What does it take to sit down with stakeholders to say, okay, fine, this is the specimen ballot paper. What do you say? What if there are errors, spelling errors, you know, for the candidates? So those are some of the issues to say, ZEC, you need to consult. And also, with regards to the aspect of polling stations as well, going back to the polling state, we have an issue to say, in Kwekwe, for example, we have a polling station that has always been at a shopping center. But for some reason, it has been moved to a bushing area. But are there people that reside in bushes? And we all know how volatile Kwekwe is. And even the Electoral Act is clear when it comes to, you know, to the location of polling stations. To say that the polling station should not be located at a place that causes apprehension amongst the voters. And we know the volatility of Kwekwe Central. And then you go on to set a polling station, you know, somewhere where people cannot access and where there is a lot of risk and fear. So those are some of the issues that we're saying, ZEC, no, you need to consult people. And that should, we are demanding is the CCC that polling station should be moved. our candidate and also the chief election person, and also with our legal people in February, they are currently in liaison with the district office, with the ZEC provincial office, to make sure that polling station is removed. And also there's the aspect of the COVID regulations. Yes, we understand that there's the fear of COVID, and we are all worried. This is why most of you here are wearing masks, which is good. But then we are saying ZEC should have discussed its COVID policy with the stakeholders. Really, it doesn't make any sense for us, for our polling agents, to say on the day when they are supposed to be trained by ZEC, they are only to be told that no, you have to record your details and blah, blah, blah. And then at the end of the day, you hear a ZANU-PF chap in Marondera saying that, no, we know you have registered your names and we are going to follow you, we are going to know who you voted for. That is the issue of risk. That is the issue of fear and intimidation that we're talking about. But in the event that ZEC had discussed with stakeholders as a multi-party liaison committees, even at national level, then we would have allayed those fears amongst our people. We have also put up, stopgap measures to ensure that, the process of registering voters and polling agents would not be violated or will not be taken advantage of to actually, to secure unnecessary political scores. And then lastly, there's the issue of fear and intimidation. I won't say much because Fadil has already spoken about it. We are getting a worrying trend with regards to our polling agents. Particularly, you go to Marondera Marondera East, Murewa South, and also Benezi South. And where we are having our polling agents, being intimidated to an extent that some will actually withdrew out of fear. And then that culture of fear is going unabated, and no one is controlling that. So we are saying the responsible bodies, please do the right thing. And also as a party, we will assure you that we'll do anything necessary under which is legal and democratic to ensure that we have all our polling agents in place. And also for those our polling agents won't be intimidated or anything. They'll do their duties as expected by the law and also as expected by the party, so that they are able to guard the vote of us, the Zimbabwean citizens. So basically, those are some of the key issues that we thought we should highlight. But as the spokesperson said, our purpose here is to say, yes, we have all these problems, but people should go out to vote. We as the CCC, we are using this as a test case for 2023. We are putting our machinery in place, and also we are putting also the ZEC, systems into check, and also the government preparedness with respect to the implementation of electoral reforms, so that at the end of the day, we know what we are faced with when it comes to the 2023 elections. I thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Ms. Shudieling. I'm briefly going to give Mr. Agency Gumbo, who heads up our legal department, to just spotlight a few of the issues. Obviously, these matters are sub judice, and there are some legal and ethical issues that arise that preclude us from, saying too much strategically. But Mr. Gumbo, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Spokesperson. Like you said, I will not delve so much into the merits of some of the cases that we already have in motion. But what I will insist on is that an election process consists of 3 stages. There is the pre-election process, or the pre-election phase. There is the during election phase, and then there is the post-election phase. And already as a party, we have witnessed serious irregularities with the pre-election process. And we have not sat on our laurels after we've witnessed this. We have written to ZEC, we have made contact with ZEC, we have highlighted all our contestations to ZEC. ZEC has responded, albeit arrogantly. Hence, we have then decided to take up the matters with the courts of law to ensure that we enforce every citizen's right to a free election, to ensure that we enforce our right to a fair election process. And we must say that the evidence that has been gathered up to now will constitute part of our greater petition even post the election process to ensure that come 2023, as has been already alluded to, this is a litmus test. Come 2023, we want to ensure that there is a free and credible electoral process. Otherwise, ZEC must disband. And we are going to pursue this, not just by coming to make noise about it on the public platforms. We're not pursuing this by making political statements, but we're also going to pursue this and ensure that we visit the corridors of legalism to ensure that there is observance of the Constitution and also there's the observance of the rule of law, and that ZEC operates within the parameters of its obligations and parameters of the Constitution and the law. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So I think all that remains is for me to ask whether there are any questions. As usual, just indicate your name, the media house you come from, and then you can ask your question. Yes.
My name is Roger from CCC. You know, there are a lot of irregularities when it comes to ZEC in this election, and by you partaking in these elections, are you not endorsing or what ZEC has done or is failed to do?
Absolutely not. We have placed it firmly on record that there are huge irregularities. And obviously we endorse a lot of the work that's been done by a lot of citizen groups, a lot of special interest groups, civic society, institutions like Team Pachedu, and other experts that have been involved in the analysis of the voters' roll that we procured when the by-election was called out. The purpose of the by-election for us as CCC is to test the readiness and preparedness, especially of ZEC. So the more data points we can put together, the stronger the citizens will be in 2023. Now we're on our guard. We know that one of the mechanisms that ZEC uses is to twist around polling stations. That's already something that's high on our radar and our risk register as we approach 2023. We're going to continue to insist that we want those polling stations set out clearly. When it comes to training of polling agents, we've had some problems with ZEC. Some of the regulations that are imposed are illegal, but now we're on our guard. Even as far as the irregularities in the voters' roll itself, we are now on our guard. Now we can't test the system without participating. I want to emphasize that to the citizens. If we don't participate, we won't have a leg to stand on in terms of holding ZEC to account and even implementing some of the legal challenges that we've got in the offing. So please, we have to participate. And we have to participate overwhelmingly. Because the information we get out will be most useful if we've got a lot of it. The more voters that come out, the more information we have to sample and to comb through as we prepare for 2023. So make no mistake, everybody has to come out to vote tomorrow. Our participation in the election is not an endorsement of the unconstitutional conduct and lack of neutrality by state institutions, especially ZEC. No, to the contrary, it's going to create a platform for us to challenge using the processes and remedies that are available at law and under the Constitution, all these issues. So we want to make sure we have a leg to stand on, Lovejoy. So the question of a boycott is out of the question. It's not even something that we are prepared to entertain. Nobody should be left behind. Even if you've heard that your polling station has been taken down, go to that site, go to Avondale Infant School and stand in your line. We are going to demand that ZEC puts down that tent. Same thing happened in Glenora, the same thing has happened elsewhere. In Mutasa Central, we had the issue of food being weaponized. If we don't participate, how do we know that that's going on? Headmen, we now know the specific headmen that are giving illegal instructions. Someone said, no, come, rang a bell and said, we now know the names of those people. And the only way we've been able to do that is by participating. So participate, we must, and participate, we will. Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Isusu chatuda kusimbisa ndechekuti munhu wese ngaabude mangwana ngatibude mungwangu wedu kunovhota. Hazvina basa kuti zviri kunzi chii, iwewe ngosvika chete papolling station yako yakatarwa kugadzirire kunovhota. Paballot paper zvinganetse kuverenga asi tsvagiridza, tora nguva yako kuti unyatsi kutsvaga kuti triple C ndeupi, unobvisa ZANU-PF unoti aiwa haisi yangu iyi, lead iyi haisi yangu iyi, MDC haisi yangu, wotsvaga pe-triple C nyangwe pachinetsa kuverenga pachagay. At the same time, isusu ve-triple C, magweta edu ari pano, elections directorate vari pano, tiri kutorawo matanho ekuonawo kuti zvakafamba sei, especially kumhizha primary school. And kune dzimwe nzvimbo zvakare kwazvakaitika izvozvo. Mutemo unotaura pasection 51 yeElectoral Act kuti hautange kuvhurunura maballot paper ma-candidates asipo, hautange kuvhurunura maballot paper ma-agents, ma-polling agents asipo, hautange kuzviita uri wega. Tizvide izvozvo, ndiri kusimbisa ZEC nema-presiding officers enyu, teedzai mutemo, teedzai kumiro remutemo. Kune vanhu vari kunzi vakapiwa hupfu nechikafu nezvimwe vachinzi aiwa tichanotarisa. Ndoda kusimbisa kuti your vote is your secret. Hapana munhu anotenderwa kupinda newe polling station uchinovhota. Ramba kuteerwa paunoenda kunovhota. Ramba kunyora pasi zita rako kuti wavhota. Your vote is your secret. Ndo zvinotaura constitution yedu iyoyo. Saka vese masabhuku ese atikunzwa kunana Mutasa nekumwe kwese kwese hazvipo pamutemo izvozvo. Saka isusu kuma-supporters edu nevanoteedza triple C, musatye, musapindwe nemweya wekutya. Mangwana ngatibudei muhwandu, maqueue anogona kunge akareba, but ngatimire izuva rimwe chete. Uye President Chamisa vakataura vachiti, this is the queue to end all queues. At least tikamira mangwana, tinenge takuona kuti takuenda nenzira ipi takanangana ne-2023. Kuitira kuti tizoita 6 million votes edu, 2/3 majority in parliament, nema-clean sweeps kuma-local authorities. Thank you. Yes.
I am Mr. from 260 times. My question is in regards with ZBC and the year-round coverage on CCC.
Yes.
Last time I attended the ZANU-PF press conference, and they said that rather than for CC to rely on ZBC and the year-round coverage, you can also opt for social media and private media. What's your statement on that? What can you say about that?
Well, first and foremost, ZANU-PF doesn't get to tell us what our rights are and what powers we have in terms of accessing state media. Those issues are provided for in the Constitution. ZANU-PF doesn't get to abrogate constitutional provisions. Now, what does the Constitution say? The Constitution says that we've got the right to fair and equal coverage by state media. ZBC doesn't get to decide and say, we're going to follow Mr. Mnangagwa at St. Mary's, but we're not going to follow President Chamisa in Epworth. They simply don't have that election. Otherwise, they're acting unconstitutionally. Obviously, we'll use state media, we'll use certain other independent media houses, but the core issue is state media is paid for by the taxpayer. We contribute to ZBC's functioning. So ZBC is owned and run by the taxpayer. They don't get to tell us that we can't be covered when the Constitution provides for it. I'll take just 2 more questions because we need to go and get ready for the by-election and coordinate our polling agents. Are there any more questions? There a lady who wants to ask? Okay, yes, I'll take that last one. Yes, sir.
I'm going to be doing the election tomorrow.
Absolutely, yes. We are going to be communicating periodically tomorrow. Obviously, the law has certain guidelines around what you can do the day before an election, so we have to be careful about that. We want to remind all citizens that please just wear ordinary clothes. Don't wear any campaign material. Don't wear any regalia. That's not allowed. But we will be updating, especially in as far as keeping a close watch to avoid irregularities. The minute we spot an irregularity, we've got a system in place, and please, citizens, don't be afraid to feed us with information. We've got a verification process. We will speak on this. But what I can guarantee you is that if the election is free and fair, the CCC will have a landslide victory. In a free and fair election, we are guaranteed of victory. And so on that wonderful note, let's all vote tomorrow. Let's come out in our numbers. Thank you very much, members of the press, for covering us. And we will keep you updated tomorrow on all the goings on. Thank you very much.